Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hi, if you are new here, I am currently amidst a 6-month no-buy. So I'm being critical, not only of new makeup releases, but also makeup that is currently in my collection. Today's video is following that thought process, but at the top, if you want to follow me on Instagram, or support me on Patreon, you can do that in the links down below. On Patreon, I release 2 extra videos every month. It's a new thing we're trying, but I'm going to be doing more difficult makeup applications on there once a month, things that I'm not comfortable experimenting with on regular YouTube, so they could be complete fails. We haven't done one yet, but I'm going to be inspired by makeup artists that I think are very talented and that have skills that I have not mastered yet. So that's kind of like what we're doing over there on my Patreon, so check it out. You can donate $1, $3, however many dollars you want a month. Everyone's getting the same content over there. What are we doing today? So let's talk about it. A couple videos ago, I did trying to foster a relationship with makeup that I have no relationship with currently. That sparked this big brain idea that we are going to be doing all month, the month of December. Am I going to post every day? Maybe. I'm going to try to post every day. It's going to be a lot of this content. Once I describe this content to you, which I will be doing in a short amount of time, you will understand how I'll be able to stretch this over the course of the month, but it will also be intermixed with regular content. What this project is, what this month-long project is, it's an extension almost of my no-buy. So what I've learned in my no-buy is that I don't really know my makeup collection as well as I think I do. The main problem is I'm not an everyday makeup wearer. I wear makeup for filming and put on makeup for this. And then when I go out and hang out with friends or if I'm like leaving the house, which in these COVID times, I'm still hesitant to do. Here's the rules, here is the project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make an effort to at least apply every makeup item I currently have in my collection on my face this month. That's going to be a bit of a Sisyphusian task that I'm going to try to do. What's going to happen is once I am done with the makeup item, it goes in this canvas box. Once it is in this box, I cannot remove it until I have worked all the way through that category. So for example, I have 4 to 5 bronzing products. Once all 5 bronzing products have hit this box or in this box, I can then remove all 5 of the bronzing products and cycle through. However, I have a lot more eyeshadows than I have bronzers, so I'm going to have to get a lot further in the month than 4 days before I can pull those back out. So the idea is that I get to familiar myself with my own collection, which is scary that I even have to do that at all. And you know, it shouldn't be this big, but I really want to get a handle on my collection. So this journey is going to also probably lead to some decluttering in the middle of this practice, this experiment that we are doing. And that's going to happen in real time. So if I use a product and I put it on my face and it doesn't perform the way I want to, it doesn't perform how I would like it to perform, or if I have something in my collection that is an equivalent to it that performs better, it's getting out of here. My goal is not to become a makeup minimalist because I don't think that I'm like a minimalist. But I do want to have a collection that I know very well and that I have opinions on. That is what we're doing here. Do I have a quippy name for it? No, but I do hope I do by the time this video goes live. So if there is a quippy title in the title, that's what we're calling it. If not, this is just my excuse to post more in December. Now, I am not like other creators who are monetized. I get nothing. I get no money out of posting every day because I am not a monetized channel. But in case you aren't aware, most channels do make the effort to post a lot during this holiday season because they get more advertising revenue. And that is not me calling them out to be an asshole. That's just me just saying, that is why. That's why. But I'm doing this so I can touch my whole collection. And maybe get more people to subscribe to my channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that. If you're interested in this product, this is a great way to follow along. Maybe I'll make a playlist. I'm not really great at making playlists, but I could do that for this. If you're interested in a playlist, well, let me know. Well, I'll probably just do it, but probably will forget also. So happy December. It's like holiday season. let's get to getting. So I think what I want to do today, what I want to pull out of my collection is stuff I haven't like really used in a while, stuff that I am certainly not familiar with. So I'm going to be trying a bunch of weird things. So this could go catastrophically, or it could go amazingly. So I'm gonna pull some things. What am I looking at? Another thing that I'm hoping is that it kind of pushes me creatively as a makeup artist while we're doing this. So, because I don't wanna do like the same look every time, but we might end up doing that or we might not. I might get really excited and try graphic liner. Who knows? I'm gonna pick out some items and then I will be back and report what we're playing with. So there is a couple things that I'm not gonna be rotating through. I only have one mascara right now. It is this mini of the Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes mascara. And I only have a couple eye primers, so I'm not gonna bother throwing them in the bin, but I will rotate through them just for practicing things. But I think I only have 2 eye primers. So I have this one and another one. I like to start with my eyeshadow, so that is how we will proceed. The eyeshadow I have chosen for today's look is the Antiquities palette from Noctex. Now, not everything I will be talking about on my channel is stuff that you can currently buy. This is a discontinued palette. However, it is in my collection, which means I'm going to use it. I know there are other YouTubers, there are other people on this platform who don't believe in using items that have been discontinued, but that is not the way I function because I would like to eventually use some of my products up. Let's get into it. I'm gonna prime my eyes. This is the Aerotillya Eye Primer. And I think what's best practices for this thought experiment that we are currently doing is I'm going to talk about the products almost as if it's a first impression, the textures of things, just like let you know. That is my goal. I wanna talk things through, really give out the feeling and also let you know how these products feel. The Aerotillya Eye Primer, I'm gonna like act if I've never touched any of this before. There's a very clinical smell to it. Has a doe foot applicator, as you can see here. Now, obviously, whenever things come back through, we won't need to do all of this. So like, we're only talk about the Aerotillya Eye Primer this one time in this step. The way this has differed, the way that this feels compared to other eyeshadow primers is this actually feels rather silicone-y, which is interesting. This is probably the best eyeshadow primer I have ever personally used. But before this, I was really only ever using the MAC Paint Pot. And I believe there was another eyeshadow primer that I did try using that I didn't really care for. So it feels almost slippery on the eyes. It doesn't feel tacky, which I feel like some have that gripping, and I don't really care for that in an eyeshadow primer. So that is how I feel about this. I know that I like it a lot already, so that's good to know. Now, I always set my eyeshadow base. I'm going to use the shade Ruffle to do so. It's gonna be a lot deeper than my skin tone, but I think it'll still work as a nice canvas for the other eyeshadows that we'll be playing with today. Brushes are also not part of the rotation. I actually don't have an immense collection of brushes. So as I suspected, this added some pigment to my eyes. It's a little bit deeper than my current complexion, but that's okay. It worked very well. I mean, obviously it doesn't really matter how well this blended. It was more or less just like creating a second barrier. I'm gonna start with Asbestos and Widow, and I'm gonna do the eye shape that I really enjoy doing because I have no eyebrows. What I'm gonna do is like that eye shape. I don't know, I have been enjoying this eye shape with this look. So basically it's like I'm creating a new crease, although I'm not really creating a new crease. Like sometimes I do a cut crease, but sometimes I will blend things up into whatever. But basically what I'm gonna do is like take this and like start diffusing that on the, you'll see. But anyway, that's how that's gonna look. And then, you know what? I might swatch all of the shimmers because I'm gonna wanna play with the shimmers, and we also might add a glitter just depending on how these shimmers look. So basically when I do this eye shape, I always start like right where the tail of my brow would have been if it was still on my face. And I kind of wing it up over here, and then I drag it all the way across where my eyebrow would be. Now, while this is like a mustard shade, it is reading very similar to the shade that I had set down on my lid to set the eyeshadow primer. This is also a color story that I am like very into. I really like these like grungy browns, blues, purples, yellows. Like the Subculture palette was a very big success in my opinion. Like I loved that color story, and it is a palette that I still use to this day. Then I'm gonna take the shade, that actually, it looks really nice. It's not patchy at all. It's very smooth application actually. I am impressed by this. And if Noctex seems to be discontinuing their makeup line, they do appear to be a clothing brand first and foremost. And it looks like they just kind of like delved into makeup for a hot second to like kind of get in on it. The thing is that they're pretty quality shadows, like so far. And I remember using this palette before and really enjoying it. I'm not surprised that this is going well, but. So now I'm gonna take the shade Widow, which is this a little bit deeper of a brown. I'm gonna take that slightly lower to like add some more drama and depth, but essentially applying it almost in the same place, just a little bit lower. And you can see how this eye shape would very easily lend itself to a cut crease, I think. At this point, at this juncture. They are blending really, really well together as well, so just keep that in mind. I don't really remember, like, I think Makeup Release Radar, or I don't remember who posted this palette, and I was like, oh, she needs to come to me. Maybe it was Indie Makeup Spotlight whenever they were posting regularly. I hope the person who runs Indie Makeup Spotlight is okay. I feel like they said they were gone for a while, and then they came back for a second, and then they are like really not posting that much still. And then what I'm gonna do is take this purple shade Faint and then do that at the bottom most of the dark brown. Hopefully that'll deepen it up. If it's not dark enough, then we'll have to course correct here in a moment, but that is the plan. That is in fact the plan. Typically I like to keep my darkest color right on that tail of the brow bone and just diffuse it out from there. I'm not gonna swipe my brush all the way to my nose like I did with the other shades. And then I'm just gonna take the brush I used for the dark brown and blend that even more. I like a really I try to get really blended, and sometimes my shadow will look a little bit muddy, but I think in the case of this look that I'm gonna end up with, that's gonna be okay. But what I like is that you get a little bit more on that little drama right there, and like just look at the difference. Just it really did something there, even though no, actually it looks really good, honestly. Honestly, props to me. All right, here's where we are. I think what I'm gonna do is kind of diffuse the top of this with this gas lamp shade with like a very, very fluffy, something with almost like no density, just to kind of give it a more sickly look. Cause you know, nothing like a holiday sickly look. How many other like makeup artists, makeup beauty tubers are like, I would like to look a little bit more sickly, but I also want to try to use as many shades as I can. Honestly, these are all performing very well. Honestly, and I believe that if you were interested in any of the shades, particularly in this palette, that they do still have them as singles. One reason I think I got so attracted to them is in their marketing photos, they used just the one shadow, and then they used white mascara, and it looked so cool, and I was like, I want that on my eyes, I want that on my eyes, I want that on my eyes. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back into Faint, and I'm gonna go from like the bottom corner of my eye all the way up to the wing, just making it matchy-matchy. But I also think I'm gonna layer this Plague shade on top of it, which looks like a black, but it might be a navy, but just to deepen it up a little more, just more drama, more. I'm not gonna actually pat it off this time, although these are super pigmented. I want as much depth as I can get. It's really interesting to see how different this color lays without being on top of the brown. Like, of course it was darker on top of the brown, but just interesting to see. Why don't I use this palette more? This I'm loving. I'm loving this. Oh, I think it looks so cool. Oh, this purple. I really thought for a long time that this might be up for the chopping block because I don't really use it that often, but as I'm playing with it now, I'm feeling like inspired. I think this is starting to look really cool, and that's a shame. So I'm gonna take this much smaller brush and really focus this plague color just like kind of central to that to meet where the dark purple is. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Like, I don't wanna lose all of that purple, like, cause it's really cool and vibrant, but I do wanna deepen it. I'm probably gonna take more of the faint color and put it on top of this black. Black is pigmented, but also proving itself pretty easy to work with. Like, it blended really well. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with faint over top of that because I do want to bring some of the purple back. I just want us to remember that it was purple. That was like this maroon shade. I'm literally just putting it directly on top of it. I'm having a great time playing with this palette. Like, this looks vicious. Plague had a bit of fallout, that's not a big deal for me. I don't really like my shadows pressed. I'm gonna swatch all three, like Arsenic, Frame, and Dearly, just to suss the vibe. Dearly was like pretty powdery whenever I swatched it, but then Frame is very creamy. And I would say Arsenic lives somewhere between the both of them. So that's what we're working with. My inclination is to go with the Arsenic shade because I love green. Is that too sickly? Should we go with Frame? I don't know. Frame does have some like glitter particles in it. We're playing. Let's do Arsenic. Let's see how it looks. If it ruins the look, then so what? I'm just gonna finger paint here. Interesting. That little bit that I got on my finger did not really go that long of a way. Normally when you finger swatch, you can kind of just like keep going and going and going. Looks like I have like a bruise on my eye, which is like not cool, but like I kind of like the effect that we're getting here. Honestly, but I think like the more classic move would have been to go with Frame. I don't know that is who I am. Like we're not classic. So then I'm gonna take the brush I used with the dark brown and just diffuse it a little there, and then take the brush I use with the purple shade and just blend out the edges into the purple. This green is like not as impactful as I think I would like. Like I want something, one, definitely for the inner corner, but I also think I'm gonna want to layer, like maybe a glitter. Let me take a look at my glitters. I also don't know that I'm gonna include my Cleona shades, like my single shadows as like a singular object, but it's nice to have options to layer on top. I probably should have done this with a brush so it wasn't so intense, but I don't know that I care. Yeah, I think we needed something like that. Nars, I did not pull out a highlighter for this. but I think I have the perfect highlighter. This is the Chimera, I don't know, from Rituel to Fille. It was a limited edition shade, but I think what I'm gonna do is grab it. Oh, good damn. Oh, god damn. Oh, we look good. This top is like way too plain for where we ended up going in this eye look, but I'm looking stunning. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick because now I'm going to prime my face and I have so much unbelievable amounts of glitter on me. So BRB. Now we are cooking. So I'm going to try a product I actually have never tried. This is a primer from NYX. It's the Bear With Me Hydrating Jelly Primer. So we'll see how this goes. This is like a little sample I got when I ordered a replacement of the NYX glitter primer. Okay, whoa. It is making some, oh, I didn't like that experience. So it feels pretty nice on my skin. It's like feeling a little bit tacky right now. I'm gonna like let it sit for a moment. And I'm also gonna wet a sponge because I think I'm gonna use a sponge to applicate my foundation. So I'm gonna do that real quick. As this primer is setting on my skin, it is making my skin feel like a little bit tight. Like, you know, if you've ever used a cleanser that makes your skin feel tight, it's starting to feel not like as bad as that, but it's just like feeling a little bit like that. So that's just something to note. I don't know that I will just keep this sample. I might just pass it along. We'll put foundation on before we make that final call, but I don't believe that that's going to be anything that I want to purchase. It's just something I haven't used in a long time. This is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I have the shade Salzburg in 3.5. And it's just been a long time since I used it. And I thought because I was picking such a dramatic eyeshadow palette, I could pick a little bit of a heavier coverage foundation. Now, this match isn't perfect. It's not the worst, but I also haven't worn it in a really long time. So we're gonna find out, I guess, together how bad it is. Okay. It's just more yellow than I am. But it's not really too deep. It's just certainly yellow. But I find that Nars foundations tend to run just yellow. Like even if they think it's a neutral shade, it's yellow. However, I used to get on with this foundation really well, and now as I'm applying it, I know why. It's like a velvet, like a velvet finish is a good way to describe it. It has that soft matte quality, but it doesn't feel too much unlike real skin. Like in the way this is looking, the Cleona shade had a lot of fallout, but that was the Cleona shade. If you're someone who has a beard or stubble, I would always suggest pulling your foundation through it, even though it's annoying to like take off at the end of the day, just for the continuity. I looked at how much of this I've used and it was quite a bit. This is something that I thought I might buy a lot again and again, but as my preferences changed, I don't know that it is something I would buy again and again. However, when I need a full coverage foundation, this isn't bad. I might have to look at the shades in person because like we are gonna have to like take this down to the collar of my shirt for it to appear to be my literal shade, but like it's certainly not. Like I'm so pink compared to this. However, it looks very nice on the skin. It definitely is a little bit matte, but in my finishing situations, like with this MAC Fix Plus that I'm gonna be using, it'll be fine. It'll bring it back to life. Been my blood too long. I'm gonna use black eyeliner, Blacquer from Marc Jacobs. Have they completely been removed from Sephora yet? I actually don't know. Now I'm gonna use a concealer that I actually haven't used in a long time. It is the Tarte, nope. It is the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use Sculpt and Conceal. I have the shade Swan. I just haven't used this in a really long time, and it used to be like, I used it all the time. Honestly, wow. Look at that. Look at that stark contrast, but it blends out, it blends out. I haven't done like a full coverage situation like this in quite some time. And I'm actually not hating the way it's looking. I mean, it's not, I would say like, probably not like the best in real life, but like going to a concert or something and like doing this much, I don't think it's the worst. Okay, so I stand by as the way it's performing on my face right now. This Too Faced concealer really is that. If you like a full coverage matte concealer, I think that this is a quality choice. It's pretty good. It's blending really well. It looks really good on me. I was worried that I was really gonna like hate having it on my face again, as I have like really come to like a really light coverage foundation and concealer, or like medium at most. But for the purposes of full coverage, if it's your gig, I don't know, man. It's pretty good. Woo! We're Instaglam honey. Insta who? So I'm gonna set, I haven't used this in a really long time either. It's the Pat McGrath Labs setting powder in the shade Light 1. I don't know really that I have thoughts on this, whether or not it's good or not. It's fine. When I used to bake, I liked it, but I don't really bake anymore. And then I'm gonna use the Chantecaille blurring powder under my eye, and then in the center of my face on my cheeks and such. Something I miss about wearing like full coverage all the time is like a lot of the foundations don't budge once they're on. Like they do a really good job not budging. I don't know, I think we're looking pretty sick. We're looking sickening. After concealer powders, I think we're looking good. I liked putting that foundation on my face. I liked the concealer on my face. I think and the powder was fine. Powder, I don't care. This powder, amazing. This powder, TBD. TBD. For the contours of my face, babes, we're gonna be using the Lunatic Cosmetics Labs Contour Palette Volume 1. And so I will be contouring, blushing, and bronzing with this. And I haven't used this in a really long time. It's a staple product in my collection. Like, I love that we're here. I love that we exist in the same realm together. So I'm gonna take the grays and contour. And what I like about this palette is that the contours are contours. And so some people really do love a bronzer situation to contour. And I don't begrudge anyone that, but I like a gray. Like, I love what's happening on my face right now. I had thought, I haven't done this in a really long time, but I might contour my nose. Only because it's like, we have so much foundation, like, I have so much makeup on, I just like haven't had this much makeup on in a really long time. And I think it would be fun to contour my nose. So I think we're gonna do that. These powders are performing amazingly as they do. They're very good. Lunatic Cosmetics Labs Contour. I would say if you were interested in like just these gray contour shades, I know that they sell them in singles. So I would just buy them in singles. Unless you are really interested and you don't have blushes or bronzers that you like, I don't think you need the whole palette. If I could do it again, I probably wouldn't buy the palette. I would just buy the singles. We're chiseled. Let's contour the nose. Now I know that I don't know, people use all kinds of different brushes on their nose. I use like an eyeshadow brush like this because I want it to like apply diffused. I don't want it to have like a line, so I typically just, well, I haven't nose contoured in a while, so maybe we don't trust me and the way I contour my nose because it's been such a long time since I've done it. Contouring your nose is a little bit of a waste of time. It doesn't look good in real life. Although my nose do be looking snatched. Oh, I'm feeling like so 2016. It's like, oh, but like it's 2016, but I didn't have like these makeup skills in 2016. It's like 2016. If I had the makeup skills I have now in 2016, this is what I would have looked like. She's contoured, babes. I might do a little bit more. A little more contouring. Where's my contour brush? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. I'm gonna go back into the deepest gray and like go back right here. Ooh. I'm having so much fun. Do I look like a model? You know what, honestly, if we're gonna do it, we might as well do it. Wow, I haven't contoured like this in so long. I I'm having a great time. I don't know if you can tell how much of a great time I'm having, but I really am. And then we're gonna go into the darkest shade and we're gonna like really stamp that in right there. I'm gonna use this one right here. I'm doing this more so for me so I can see like, is any of this making any of a difference when I'm editing? The way I try to like hold my hair back while I'm working on my cheek is if my hair is like long enough for that to be something that I need to be concerned about. I know it's not. I'm looking so good. I will zoom you in so you can see I'm looking a little dry IRL because of all the matte stuff happening, like the matte contour, the matte bronzer, and then the matte blush that I'm gonna be putting on. Like that's all. Like here, I'm gonna zoom you in just so you can see. Like we're looking a little dry. Actually, it could look a lot worse. But look at that sparkle. Ugh. Stupid. Blush. I want to use this blush. Right there. Right there. Right there. So I posed this question on my podcast. We were talking about Chingy's famous song, Right There, as I was just emulating. Do you think that Chingy gets there, and there confused? And are they spelled different? And this is not me trying to be like a jerk, because I'm not making fun of like AAV or like the vernacular that Chingy uses. I just am curious, like genuinely curious. You know, I'm gonna take it on some of the temple too. We'll put some up here. Oh yeah, that's the move. Oh. So though I used the Chimera on my inner corner, I don't believe that it is the highlight I'm going to use on my face, only because with this blush, well, no, I just don't think that's the move I want to make. That's not the move I want to make. I'm gonna pick a different highlighter. I think I'm gonna pick actually the Faun from Rituel de Fille. I'm gonna not put this one in my bin, only because I really just only use it on the inner corner, and like, how can I see performance? This is something I'm very familiar with anyway, but I needed something, and I wanted it to be that. Although I could have used this if I was thinking ahead, but I forgot that I had pulled the Lunatic Cosmetics Labs out as being my bronzing, blushing palette, just so I could use all of the things in it. And then I'm gonna just dab it on, because I think this will match the glow that's on my lids pretty well. The thing I love most about these Rituel de Fille highlighters is that sometimes in person they look a little bit too much, but sometimes the camera will save them. Now, one could argue that all of what I have going on my face is too much right now, but I would disagree. Rituel de Fille layers really well on powders, so I figured since I was doing a matte look, I could get away with a little bit of Rituel de Fille on my cheeks. Before I do anything else, I'm going to spray my face with Fix Plus. And someone asked about this fan on my last video. These are from Dirt Squirrel, and they make really big fans. If you're not familiar with RuPaul's Drag Race, that's how I came across them for the first time. Oh, I want to do some undershadow. I do want to do some undershadow, and I think I want to use a teal. I'm going to use Aristocat. Crap. Not Disney. Not in my movie. Not in my film. Now I'm going to spray my face. Get in your locked and loaded positions, ladies. I'm gonna throw my mascara on. I normally throw my mascara on after I spray my face, only because, you know, we don't want to take any chances. Although, I've never had issues with this mascara. This is not my first time using it. This is just a fresh little tube of it. It's not my favorite mascara though. It doesn't give me the volume I like, but I think it's a very easy to use mascara. I think it does a really good job separating. And if you get in there, you really get something going. And then I'm gonna take a fan brush, a little fan brush, and just put some on these lower lashes since we have all the drama going on. Oh my God. Oh my God, Tom, you have outdone yourself. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm gonna line my lips with Ground Control from Pat McGrath. Now, I won't really talk about my experience with this only because I'm not trying a lot of lip liners, so I don't know really what my preferences are. All I know is that I have it and it works, so I'm not really too picky about it. And then I'm gonna top it with this Pat McGrath Labs Vendetta shade. I think I'm gonna top it with a clear gloss. We are really going there. I kind of like blew out my lip line, which was not really what I intended to do, but I think since we had like gone so grungy, I thought it would be cool, and I think it is. This is definitely not what I thought we were going to get when we started doing this. And I think this is something that we're gonna find as I continue to explore my collection. But like, this is very atypical colors for me. These are very atypical like look for me. Like it's a very atypical type of foundation, and I enjoyed all of it. So what I wanna do before we close out this video is let's talk about each item that is going to now go into the box, which is not going to be everything. Let's first start with the eyeshadow palette, the Antiquities palette from Noctex. This was so much fun to play with, so easy to play with. I think I got a really great look. The only like downside to this, I think, is that these shimmers leave a lot to be desired. I would say that Dearly and Arsenic are satins at best, and Frame, which I did not use today, did have like a more of a kick to it, but I definitely feel like the Cleona was necessary to really boost it up. So I think that these are really gonna be really sultry dark looks that are not gonna have like a glitter impact, which is something that I really enjoy. But it doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy using this. It just means that I might need to bring some other things into play to really have a good time with this palette. And I really had a great time with this palette. So the box is here. The box is right next to me, so she's going in the box. Let's talk about this. So I love these contouring shades. I have learned over time that I really love a bronzer that has a shimmer to it, and I really like a blush that has a sheen to it. So while this is not like the most appropriate thing for me to have in my collection, using it today reminds me that I can still add other things on top of it to really get an effect that I like while using this. So this is definitely something I really think I'm gonna end up using more. It's a very nice palette. All of these powders are really good. It's just that I have so many other singles that I think of more in the way of bronzer and then also blushes that I just like don't reach for this. But the fact that I like committed to just using this palette when I pulled it out, I feel like that's something I'm gonna have to do whenever I want to use these contour powders. Be like, okay, I'm gonna use these bronzers, I'm going to use these. The only two items that I don't really think I'm ever gonna use are these. I don't really use matte highlighter powders. So those kind of will go unloved in my collection, probably the entirety of me having this palette. However, They worked really well, they blended really well. So if you do like a matte finish, and if that's like your gig, you probably would really like these powders. I'm not gonna count the clear gloss. That was just a tool that I pulled out at the end. I'm not gonna count the mascara or the Aerotillya Eye Primer. This NYX primer was neither here nor there, so I'm just going to get rid of it and put it in my giveaway pile. I have a lot of friends who would probably enjoy trying it and probably use it up before I ever could. And I'm very a creature of habit when it comes to using my primers. Like, I often reach for that Bobbi Brown one. I often reach for that Urban Decay one because I think it's really good. So this is just like I'm not even gonna use up this much of it, so I'm just gonna give it away. The Too Faced Born This Way concealer. Now, I thought I wasn't gonna have as much fun with this as I did. I think the thing is, just because my general preferences in wearing makeup out and about has changed. So I don't really wear full coverage out and about, but in the purposes of wearing a full coverage look, this is a delight to use on my face today. And I'm very excited that it was, because I thought I was gonna hate it, but I really enjoyed using it today. The Nars Soft Matte Foundation, also a treat to use today. It is a matte, but the thing is, what's nice about matte on my particular skin, I have very oily skin. Throughout the day, this, because it's a soft matte, turns into more of a skin-like satin finish on me, and it looks really good. And it holds up, and while it does look a little, I'm looking a little bit matte in person, I think that this effect can't be beat if you are someone who likes a soft matte foundation. It's really good. The Faun. Now, this is a discontinued item. Again, I said I'm not afraid of discontinued. Not discontinued. This was limited edition. This is from Rituel de Fille. And I'm actually glad I picked this over the Chimera. Only because, one, you got this like pink glow whenever I turned my face, which is a lot of fun. But also using it on my lips to brighten up the center of it, and just doing the highlight on my nose, doing that very 2016 highlighter situation was really fun. And I think that if I had used the green, I wouldn't have been able to use it in as many places on my face. But this shade, ever since it came into my collection, I've been really enjoying having, because I think it's very pretty. The lip liner in Ground Control from Pat McGrath. It was neither here nor there. I don't really have passionate feelings about lip liner, so it worked. It did what it needed to do, but I actually ended up buffing it out anyway and over like blurring my lips. So Pat McGrath shade in the Matte Trance in Vendetta. I think this was so pretty and such a great choice. It's such a deep, sultry red, and over top of the brown and Ground Control of the lip liner really did something, and it really spoke to me. So this is a very pretty shade. And I have it swatched here so you can see it without all the brown underneath, but it's a very, very pretty red. Pat McGrath powder, neither here nor there on this. It was fine. It did what I needed it to do. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I can't wait to play with more of my makeup. This was so much fun. It looks so good. I feel so cool. I feel like such a cool girl. A cool girl who's trying too hard, but certainly cool. Like, no normal person would come up with this. This looks so cool. I look so cool right now. So I'm so thrilled to keep continuing this project. If you want to keep watching this project, please hit the subscribe button so you can see all of my future posts in this category. And I also have a wonderful back catalog if you were interested in seeing other content from me. Hit that sub button. Also, hit that like button. If you like this video and you want to see some more like this, you had to like it. You had to help me, help you, help the people. That's what we're doing here. And if you really enjoyed spending time with me, again, I have a Patreon where I post 2 additional videos every month. It's a new thing, so there's only 1 video on there so far, but in December we will have 2. December is this month because that's when I'll be posting this video. I'm very excited about this project. I really, really am. Thank you for watching this all the way to the end. Remember, follow your haute and you will find me. I appreciate you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, friends. Bye-bye.